This is Smiles TV. Welcome to Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Anthony Miles, and thank you for tuning in to this special broadcast in honor of Mr. Richard Claxton Dick Gregory. Mr. Dick Gregory passed on August 19th of 2017, and we're going to be talking with his brother, Ron Gregory. Ron Gregory and Dick Gregory are from the St. Louis area, and we are just grateful that you're going to have an opportunity to hear from Ron Gregory, the brother of Dick Gregory. Ron is a former teacher, mentor, positive role model in the St. Louis area for youth, and has been for the past 5 decades. He has been cited locally and nationally for his work with several organizations that try to improve the equality of life for the young in the St. Louis area. We're going to chat about his family. We're going to talk about Dick Gregory. Don't go away. Stay tuned for more Smiles.
I wanted to create an atmosphere where you can come in, socialize, listen to good music, let all your worries go.
People are friendly.
The setting is just so relaxing and beautiful, the design.
Good food, good music, and you have a wonderful time.
We have an artist coming up on the 27th, Warren. I heard he has some beautiful pieces, so man, we're kind of excited about that. I care about people, to bring people together and have a good time. That's my mission in life.
Mother Earth Natural Gallery, Minji's at 5900 North Illinois Avenue, where you can come in and get jazz music and as well as reggae. While you're there, look around. You'll find some natural oils, face soaps, things made just to soothe you. Hair butter, butters, body scrubs, bath bombs, all essentially made for you.
Would you like to increase your customer base, grow your online presence, transform the look of your brand? Let the marketing experts at Logo Graphics Design and Advertising help you hit the mark. Logo Graphics has provided marketing solutions for businesses for over 26 years. Our services include website development, marketing flyers or banners, email marketing, nonprofit outreach, social media management, and more. Contact our office to turn your ideas into solutions today. Call us at 1-800-288-9524 or email us at logographicsdna@gmail.com.
Have you ever been pressed for time? Rushing to get to that very important meeting with the big guys? Or trying to beat that grace period at work and finding somewhere to park is nearly impossible? You finally find a parking spot in front of the parking meter and you realize that you didn't bring any change. You happen to look over and see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk. And for a half second, we immediately assume that the homeless person wants something from us. We snap back to reality as we check all our pockets for change because we don't want to get a parking ticket. Coincidentally, we look over and see the homeless man handing us the exact change we need for the parking meter. My new album, View from the Inside Out, was created to encourage listeners to not judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it's the person that we least expect that will be the one that gives us exactly what we need when we need it. View from the Inside Out drops March 19 everywhere. And remember, integrity matters the most when you're by yourself.
Pain is something we all have to live with. Aching joints, arthritis, flare-ups from injuries that we long forgot. We each deal with pain in our own way until it becomes debilitating and we need real help. Even worse are the medications with opioids, steroids, and chemical ingredients we can't even pronounce or don't even know where they come from. Do we really want to put these potentially lethal drugs into or on our bodies? Did you know that even taking simple over-the-counter medicines for pain can have dangerous side effects when mixed with certain foods or other prescriptions? It's time to leave the harmful drugs behind and use No More Pain Herbal Blend. This blend of essential oils is 100% drug and chemical free. Massage into any joint or muscle for immediate pain relief. Don't believe it? Try it for yourself. Try it free for 30 days, and if you feel it doesn't work, simply return it. If it works for you, keep it and pay just $29.99. It's simple and painless. Take the 30-day challenge and get back to being you. Call today, 650-278-4428. That's 650-278-4428, or visit us on the web at beyondbeautiful.club. That's www.beyondbeautiful.club. Join the club and get back to being you.
Hey, I bring to you DOC, Disciples of Christ Ministries. We are dedicated to the advancement of God's kingdom by bringing our people closer to Christ. We are proving ways to effectively commit scripture to memory. If you want to memorize biblical text but are not sure what to memorize or how, the SOAP study is perfect for you. The SOAP method: scripture, observation, application, prayer, is the perfect launching point to begin hiding God's Word in your heart. This user-friendly and godly-inspired gift will give you thought starters to encourage you and others on your spiritual journey, bringing you intrinsic, extrinsic, and most importantly, eternal value. For more information, you may contact us today at 314-449-1337. Receive a free Bible with your order today.
The Dynasty Media Portal is a media distribution platform reflecting multiple genres of music, film, and special events via radio, television, and online streaming. Advertisers and content generators are connected to a combined listening audience of over 14 million viewers with any single piece of content. It's unlimited access for your organization or business through digital and social media marketing. Contact us at 1-800-288-9524 or email us at dynastytelevision@gmail.com. Visit www.dynastytelevisionmediaportal.com and experience what it means to be destined for Dynasty.
Royale, Brown, Rodney, is about to go in and eat and drink, talk to the customers and talk to the owner and the bartender.
I had the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Dick Gregory a couple of years ago, and I'm just so honored to be sitting here with his brother today. Just a little history on Mr. Gregory. Mr. Dick Gregory was an African-American comedian, civil rights activist, social critic, writer, entrepreneur, conspiracy theorist, and occasional actor. He passed on August 19th of 2017. Ron, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
Thank you so much for coming back to Smiles.
Appreciate you asking me.
You know what, one thing I didn't say in the top of the program is that we're at Minji's Cafe in Fairview Heights, Illinois. And I want to thank you for joining us with Gloria Lewis Lockett, who's the owner of this cafe. She says she's just so honored that you chose to meet in this location.
When I showed up, I was just amazed at how this place looks. And it's got to be successful. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
Lovely setting.
She's a very gifted, talented young woman, and I believe God is really blessing her. Let me ask you this: how are you doing as a result of the passing of your brother?
I'm doing fine. I mean, that brother of mine has been out in the world, like you say, for over 60 some years, doing what he been doing with his activism and athletics. And it was amazing when he died and people started calling us with condolences. And we found out that in many cases on the calls, we had to, offer condolences to console the caller, because we had people calling and crying and talking about, what Dick has meant to them over the years, the fact that they felt that he had championed the cause, and the fact that he was out there on the scene always made them feel good and everything. And now they feel that not just America, not just African American people, but they feel like the world has lost.
And you know
a
what?
leader.
And they are right, and that has to be touching to
Oh
you.
yeah, it was calls and cards and plants and things. But like I said, I felt like consoling them, because when they talked about the caliber person they felt like they had lost, uh, and I'd say, hey, I understand. We, our family had learned to get along without the brother because he was gone. But in your case, you people were waking up, turning on YouTube and all the different channels and things, listening to what he was saying on a daily basis on radio talk shows. And all of a sudden, you wake up one morning wanting to listen to him on one of the cable radio shows, and to find out that in the middle of the night he passed away. The best place to see the solar eclipse in the Midwest was in Carbondale.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. There was a full eclipse in
Yeah.
Carbondale.
In Carbondale. And some years ago, Carbondale called Dick Gregory their favorite son. On the 19th, they lost their favorite son. And on the 21st, the world, for a brief period, lost their complete son.
Right. It was the 21st. So it was a couple of days
And-
later.
and like I said, Carbondale was his area where he, ran track and began to. Actually, that's when he began to go on in the national stage. When he started running for SIU, he got a scholarship to go there to run track, because he was African American who became the first to win the state mile and state cross country championship. And in the process, he had to go through all kinds of obstacles at the time, because they didn't allow blacks to run in the state meets with white athletes. And he got uptight about it, because he's running all this fabulous time in high school, but it's not being recognized because they're only recognizing the times of meets where the white runners were running in. So he pushed for that when he was in high school. He pushed for against the overcrowded conditions, because in St. Louis they had 11 high schools, and of the 11, 8 were for white only and 3 for African Americans. And the conditions were just as overcrowded, and the students in the 3 schools got uptight and said, yeah, we're just going to walk out. And Dick said, well, wait a minute. There has to be a purpose for our walkout.
So you think that's where that activism
Yes.
really started?
And rather than saying we're just going to walk out of school, what we're going to do is some of the students, we're going to come out at a particular time, and then we're going to march to the second African American school, which was Shoshone, and pick up their students, and then we're going to march to the third African American school, which was Washington Technical High School. And then once we get all of us together, then the march will be to the Board of Education. And they had a public high school league, athletic league, and the St. Louis Public High School Athletic League were only for the 8 white schools. We were not part of that. And part of the stuff that he did push for that. And I came in, he graduated from high school in 1952. I came to high school in 1953. And a lot of the different barriers that he had to go through were gone. The only one that was left had to do with the public high school league.
So actually, both of you actually have lived through different eras and have seen so much change over the course of time. So one of the things that I found incredible is that he had an opportunity, and you have had an opportunity to fight through some of the racism over the course of years, and then find yourselves witnessing an African-American president. And Mr. Gregory himself, he made sure I knew that he was the first African-American to officially run for president. So what are your thoughts on that?
It was just amazing that he would have the insight to take on something like that and decide, okay, through the elimination process, blacks could be eliminated from the actual race. So then what he did is, rather than get in the preliminaries, he came in as an independent candidate, which meant it guaranteed him that he would be on the ballot. And he went all over the country campaigning as the president of the United States.
Wow.
But the beautiful thing is that he lived long enough to see America actually elect their first African-American president in Barack Obama. And it was quite an ordeal.
Tell you what, we're going to need to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about Mr. Dick Gregory. We're sitting here with his brother, Ron Gregory. Don't go away. Stay tuned for more Smiles.
We're excited that we have the digital media program, the mentorship program. We have homework help and test prep here at Impact.
Coming to the stage, y'all. I want you to put your hands together right now. Start clapping. Give it up for them. Give it up for them. I want you guys to make it feel real welcome. Put your hands together for Michelle. Hey! Thank you. It's important to have a relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? It's like critical time, so you can't afford to not be in a relationship with God. Amen. I love the church, the shingles. Y'all gotta forgive me because I ran out the house and I forgot to take my ADD medicine. So this could go a whole lot of different ways up here. The cart could get away from the horse, so I'm just letting you know up front. I got first thing on the menu that they need to do for us, for black folks, is we need a rib tip plate. I'm just saying. I think we need a rib tip plate on the menu at Starbucks. That would help us feel validated for what went on. Because it wasn't right. It wasn't right. This ticket for a friend, I'm going to just go on in. She was like, where you going? I was like, well, I'm going to try to. I thought we was going to do a game of one-on-one. He's like, where you going? Like, come on back. Nope. I need 21s. 19. Oh, the devil is alive. Oh, no. When y'all see big people out of breath, don't talk to us. Don't talk to us. Every person in here know what it's like to go up a flight of steps. When you get to the top of the flight of steps, you be like, then you get the cold. All right, where my married couples at? Where the married folks at? Make some noise. Now stop. Boo. Boo. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I fail to mention that I got my master's degree at Petty University? Sorry. Let me just insert this. Today's a day. Today's a good day to trust God.
That's right.
Amen. I'm just can I say that one more time. Today is a good day. Y'all say it with me. Y'all gon' say it. Today is a good day to trust God. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Wow, I'm a lucky man. She is the light of my life, and as fine as a Georgia pine. Good God from Zion, she's truly been a blessing. So what am I afraid of? I mean, she's perfect in every way. I love her. Yeah, I need to do the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing. Yeah, it's time.
My man is fine. He even looks better in the morning. I love him so much. Although he's not perfect, I accept him for who he is, and I'll support him in every area. I'll be there for him till death do us part.
Excuse me? How do you know Chris?
You must be Deanna.
Hi, I'm Roz McCarthy, CEO founder of Minorities for Medical Marijuana. Minorities for Medical Marijuana is a nonprofit advocacy, outreach, and education organization based in Orlando, Florida. Our focus is making sure that minorities have an opportunity in the new legalization of marijuana throughout the country. We're in South Carolina, we're in Missouri, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Arizona. Our organization was formed to make sure that individuals, people of color, people coming from communities of color have an opportunity to be able to participate in the legalization of cannabis in the United States.
If you're tired of wandering in the wilderness of obesity, God is ready to usher you into the promised land of healthy and fit for life. Eating as an Active Worship Ministries is a nonprofit organization dedicated to teaching the biblical principles for maintaining a healthy body for the glory of God. Join our free 12-week course for both adults and children online via Periscope or at New Calvary Temple Kojic, located at 1120 Bishop Lindsay Avenue in North Little Rock, Arkansas. No registration fees or membership fees, just the purchase of the Eating as an Active Worship workbook. So sign up today. To register, visit our website at www.eatingasanactiveworshipministries.org and tune in to our Saturday morning radio show at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Studio W Buzz.
Welcome back to Smiles TV Talk Show. I'm sitting here with Ron Gregory, who is the brother of the legendary Dick Gregory. And Ron Gregory is actually a legend in his own right because he's also a comedian and activist. And just share with us as we discuss the Gregory family. Growing up in a home with Dick Gregory, and I think I've asked you this on the last show, what was it like to grow up with him?
He was a funny guy through his whole life. He was a big athlete. When he was a kid, he sold newspapers and became an award-winning newspaper guy. All of us had to do something to sort of help my mom because she had 6 children, and my dad left early in our life, and so everybody had to pitch in. I think with the exception of me, she thought I was always too young to go out and work.
So you're the baby brother?
I'm
the baby.
At 79, I prefer being said I'm the youngest. Just something about being in your 70s, getting ready to be 80. The word baby doesn't kind of hit right.
Okay. Yes, sir. If we may, can we talk about his actual passing and maybe the call that you got and the impact at that moment? Talk a little bit about, had he been ill prior to passing?
Dick, in all stretch of my name, just literally wore himself out. His schedule, he was doing anywhere from 200 to 240 interviews, appearances, lectures a year. He had maintained a schedule at the age of 80 that he had when he was in his 30s and 40s, and it was just too much. He did all these fasts. Anytime somebody would call him for an interview, he would be there. At one time in Chicago, there was a demonstration. This was in the 60s. There was a demonstration against the Chicago Board of Education. And they asked him if he would participate because he had spent a lot of time in Chicago. At the time they asked him, he was actually doing a 2 weeks engagement in San Francisco at I think a place called the Hungry Eye. And he agreed to demonstrate. So he would perform in San Francisco in the evening time. When the show was over with, he had booked a flight. He would fly to Chicago, participate in the demonstration during the daytime.
Oh, my goodness.
And then get on a plane and fly back to San Francisco. And he did that for a full either 2 or 3 weeks.
You know what? I believe you because if you remember when we taped the show with Dick Gregory in East St. Louis, you were there, and we started at about 10 o'clock at night, and we didn't get out of there until the sun was coming up. He was not tired. I was tired.
I know. You and I were practically dead on our feet.
And I said, well, maybe I should have been on that bohemian diet. Yeah. Maybe I would have had a little bit more
and he seemed to be the one that was fresh at all times. Right. But it just the wear and tear on the physical body. And at no time did he, like most of us, will take a week's vacation or 2 weeks vacation. That was never the case of him. He just kept going and he kept going and kept going. But, like people said, if a baseball player could die playing center field, or if a football player could die catching the final pass or running a touchdown, they would just say that's the greatest thing that could have ever happened. And then Dick Gregory, he actually died on the battlefield.
Wow.
He was.
And speaking of how he passed, so lead us to that day. Lead us up to that.
He had come in from an engagement, I think, out in California, and he was scheduled to go back for 3 more dates. And he just couldn't make it. He was just worn out. His equilibrium was off and all like that, so he was hospitalized. So they canceled 3 engagements. But the talk was that they thought he was coming along, and after 2 or 3 days, he would be back on the road again when he died. the night of August 19th.
Mm-hmm.
They had to immediately cancel 3 more engagements. I'm not 3 more, 10 more engagements. That's how tough his schedule was.
Oh, my
That he had
goodness,
canceled 3 and had 10 more
Mhm.
lined up. That also had to be canceled because of the illness.
And so you have some services planned, and I'll be honest with you. When you first told me that you weren't going to have anything immediately, I wondered why are they waiting maybe a little while to the middle of September? I think around the 14th or 15th.
Yeah, they probably because things were so hectic with his schedule and family and everything that they didn't want to just rush in and have something and not do him the type of justice and honoring him the way he should. So it had to be planned. So as of now, my understanding is that the funeral will be either 3 or 4 days in Washington, D.C. I know it's the 16th, the 17th, and the 18th, and maybe the burial will be on the 19th. That's all scheduled in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
But there will be 3 or 4 memorials scheduled. One, Washington University in St. Louis is scheduling a memorial, and tentatively the date is October the 14th. The St. Louis Board of Education and the Alumni Association and the Sumner group in St. Louis is planning a memorial around his birthday, which is October the 12th. And I understand that they have gotten permission from the city of St. Louis to declare Thursday, October the 12th, Dick Gregory Day in the city of St. Louis. And there's one more that's in the work that we know of in the St. Louis side. And as you know, I just got through talking to the young lady who...
Right, Gloria Lockett of Menzies Cafe.
Menzies Cafe, that is a possibility that we will get together and possibly have one on the east side right here at this beautiful restaurant that she's opening up, because I think if Dick was alive and had come in here and seen this, in order to get him out of here before a 24-hour period, you'd have to drag him out here kicking and screaming.
And I'm going to tell you something. Gloria, the owner of Menzies Cafe, she was actually supposed to come to the first taping, but she does so. Her schedule is kind of like Dick Gregory's, so she just wasn't able to make it. So this is such an honor and a great thing that we're here. And as a matter of fact, let me let you know that we are at 5900 North Illinois Avenue in Fairview Heights, Illinois, Menzies Cafe. The owner is Gloria Lewis Lockett, and she is a native East St. Louisan, my homegirl. So, Ron, is there anything that you would like to make sure? What are some of the things? I know there's a lot, so I can't narrow it down to one thing. What are some of the things you want to make sure that we remember about Dick Gregory?
First of all, he was a world-class entertainer, comedian, and he was a political satirist. His view on what was going on around the world was just uncanny, where most people just read the account of some type of activity that's going on that affects the world in whatever daily paper they would read, where Dick read papers from all over the world and all over the country to get a real insight. And then he had people across the world that he was able to contact to get an insight on what was going on. So he had this knack of just looking at all different sides of this. And I think one day high schools and colleges will be teaching a course on the thoughts of Dick Gregory and how he was able to look at what was going on in the world and deal with it.
I think you're right, and I think it's also amazing how he took some of those serious issues and he turned it into comedy, although there was always a real message in his comedy. I don't think we talked much about that. What was that turning point, or what made him go ahead and do that comedian part?
Well, he was always one that wanted people to laugh. Probably one of the things that got him into that was that he was always a small size guy. And people would, tease him about, his size. He would be teased about our family, our financial family condition. So I think what he decided to do is that, hey, if I joked about my size and I joked about my family's financial condition, what I actually would do would be to take the brick out of their hand and put it in my hand and get people to be laughing with him as opposed to laughing at him.
Wow.
And
that's
that was
good.
something. One of the things that we'll be doing on the 4th of November is we're going to be having a comedy showcase in the city of St. Louis. And it's dedicated to Dick Gregory. And we'll be using some up-and-coming young comics to spotlight, and it might become an annual thing called the Dick Gregory Classic.
Wow.
But this is spotlighting the comedy side of Dick Gregory, because he became such a political satirist that a lot of people didn't even realize. They've been listening to this guy for 20, 25 years and didn't realize that he had been a comic, and he was one of the first ones who was allowed to grace the white stages,
right,
and be a stand-up comic, as opposed to what they used to make black comics do, is be more like a clown or a buffoon, where, just like the Harlem Globetrotters and the black baseball players had to wear the big shoes and the big, huge gloves, and, just they added that clown bit in it, because that's what they wanted to make the world think, that our race was a group of clowns.
You know what? When we were talking with Dick Gregory before, he brought a lot of materials with him that had dates on them. There was some information that appeared to be printed prior to the actual event. How did he come across such information?
With people all over the world willing to gather information and sending it to him before it had even hit the papers.
Right.
And he had contacts all over the world. I mean, people all over the world would send him information because they know he would get it out, and they also knew that he had credibility about what he said. If somebody sent something to him and he read it and he did some research, and if it wasn't credible, he would can it. On the other hand, if somebody sent something to him and he checked it out and found out that it was something really going on, but that people didn't want to talk about it, then he went on the air, like the 40-ounce malt liquor, which was crazy, because a 40-ounce malt liquor has been measured to be equivalent to 5 shots of hard alcohol.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Not that I drink 40 ounces, but I did not know that.
You think that when somebody is drinking a 40-ounce bottle of beer, he has to drink it while it's cold. So the window for a chilled bottle like that is probably maybe 10 or 15 minutes at most. So a guy is drinking a 40-ounce bottle of malt liquor in 15 minutes. On the other hand, nobody in their right mind would try to sit up in a bar and drink 5 highballs in that short period of time. The other thing is that there's some chemicals in malt liquor. One of them is called manganese, and they know it's been discovered that manganese has an effect on the brain, and if you consume enough over the period of time, it will almost make your mind immune to vicious things that you do.
Well, you know what? Our time is running short, and I really hope that we can do some more later because you said you will always come back to Smiles TV.
All right.
But in wrapping up, what's next for you? Where are you headed?
We'll be going to Washington, D.C. for the Dick's funeral, and they will be involved in the various memorials that will take place in St. Louis. There's been a talk about a statue being erected somewhere in St. Louis to honor him. And like I said, on the 4th of November, at the Black Historical University of Harris Stowe, we're having a comedy showcase with a bunch of young comics that will be on the program for him. I just declared myself a comic again.
Okay.
Shortly after Dick died, I told everybody I wasn't a comic because, you know, it seemed like people died in threes, and Dick died, and the next day Jerry Lewis died, and we was all waiting for who was going to be the third comic, so I took myself out the running.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a comic. And after the third guy passed, then I came back and said, okay, I'm back in the round being a comic again.
Well, I want to thank you again. Can I get a hug from you, please?
Oh, yes.
God bless you
okay.
and keep you and your family. I want everyone to please just remember Dick Gregory. If you don't know Dick Gregory, Google him. You know, a lot of the young people may not have as much information, but Google him. There's some rich history there. We want to thank the Impact Family Center of Chicago, Illinois, and especially Marcia. Marcia, thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. And we'll be hearing more about the Family Impact Center, the Impact Family Center, which is in Chicago, Illinois. Stay tuned for more Smiles episodes. We're going to try to do some follow-ups later on as we go forward. Mr. Gregory said that he wanted to do some things at the Menji Cafe, where we might have some more memorial activities for Mr. Dick Gregory right here in our immediate metropolitan area. I want to thank Faye Donzadella for your support. And just keep smiling. And remember, only what you do for Christ will last.